Hey, part 72 of the Cafe Racer. Welcome to Urban Monk TV. So hey guys, welcome back. It's been almost 2 weeks since I've worked on the Cafe Racer. Last weekend I took my family on a vacation to Las Vegas, but I did get a video out just before we went on that trip. So it's been a while and I need to get you guys updated. And I'm getting pulled in a couple different directions here. I'm looking at the records, my journal for my everyday bike, the V-Strom. And I'm close but not quite there to needing to do a valve clearance check again because I put so darn many miles on it, which is great. It just keeps performing flawlessly, and I keep racking up the miles and keep having a great time and no problems. So count my blessings there. But as you can see, I've been playing around with headlight mounting, and I want to get handlebars on here and the headlight kind of in place. Last I left off with the Cafe Racer, I was going to mount the horn and wire that up, and I had found that I neglected to paint the bracket that holds that horn on, and so I've been trying to paint it along the way, but we've had this crazy cold weather. You can see I'm all bundled up. I'm literally wearing long underwear in Los Angeles to be out in the garage. Crazy. But I'm trying to get that thing painted, and it's primed, but we don't have color on it yet, and it's too cold to be painting right now. So I gotta hold off on that. So let's get this front end all buttoned up. Well, maybe buttoned up is too much of a stretch, but at least just get some of this hardware that's going to live here mounted in a place that we know we like, so that we can start wiring things. I have these cheap but relatively attractive, it's a good chrome, eBay headlight mounts. I'm going to go with them. Budget project, you guys. And I got this headlight from Dime City Cycles. I love it. It's much smaller than the original. Here, let me show you the original compared to this thing. So that's obviously not where I'm going to have it mounted. It's just slid down right now, but there's the original. It's just a monster. So I like the small much better. And then for handlebars, I have these clip-ons, but they're kind of a cool thing. Just setting this here for now. You know, you've got that, and then the bar mounts to that, and it gives you a lot of adjustability as far as positioning. So I kind of liked that design, and I've gone with it. What I need to figure out is, do I want to mount below the triple tree yoke here or above it? If I go above, well then obviously I need to lower the forks a bit or bring this up, because that just looks ridiculous having it, that's not even a good enough bite on there. Some thoughts on this. Let's go ahead and try both positions and get our eye level and take a look at it from a couple of different perspectives and see what we like. But what I can say is that I'm the primary rider here, and I had a shoulder injury, well, years ago, and I've got one shoulder that just is not going to be a huge fan of leaning too far forward and putting a bunch of weight and impact into my joints on the left side here. Something to consider, about how far down I go, but this is those compromises you have to make. Aesthetics over other things, like where my feet placement are, where my body position, let's just call it that. I don't know where I'm going to go here yet, but let's just at least address the aesthetic side of it. I can change it later. Okay, I've got the bike jacked up and stabilized with a couple of ratcheting tie-down straps on both sides of the frame, so that I now have the front wheel off of the lift, and I can get some adjustment up top happening. So the first thing I'll do is loosen these, drop the front end so that I can put these up under the yoke. There, it's dropped. Oh, yeah. She dropped. So now I can slide this on here. And I want to put the hardware to the inside so that I get a cleaner look on the outside. I guess that's a personal choice thing. Hopefully I don't have any sort of interferences tightening them up, but my guess is I'll be able to work around the headlight and whatever's happening with the instruments to get at this tightening bolt later. Well, here's one little interesting tidbit of information about these clip-ons that you get off of eBay. While I like the adjustability in, well, I guess all dimensions, there's a bit of an interference here so that I cannot use my preferred socket because it's, I just can't get at it. So you are forced to use your Allen key style. There is enough clearance to get that in there. I hate these things, but I have them around because sometimes you need them. Not a big deal, just something I thought I'd point out. So another thing I've been thinking about, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and of course quite a few people now, thank you, are starting to watch mine, which I think is really fantastic. There's a bit of an interference here too. It's difficult to adjust this. What I'm noticing is that, YouTube is making our planet a little bit smaller, and if you haven't gathered by now, I'll let the secret out that I predominantly speak in English. And I know I've got subscribers and fans that are outside of the US that watch my channel, and again, thank you. And their, YouTube analytics tells me you're in Great Britain and New Zealand and Australia, and I'm starting to see myself, beginning to think in colloquialisms from around the world that are not necessarily American. The expression "Bob's your uncle" is starting to come to mind to me intuitively when I get to a point where someone might utter a phrase like that. And it got me thinking about the English language, and frankly all languages, the predominant English, Spanish, French, German, Japanese, Chinese, they're starting to kind of globalize and morph into something new. And if I'm starting to think about saying "Bob's your uncle," what's next, Maybe soon I'll be calling a flashlight a torch. And likewise, maybe some of you guys over across the pond, which I don't think is an American expression, might be saying flashlight. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. It just seems like we should try to hang on to our colloquialisms, and so that regional dialect survives. It's kind of the spice of life, right? And keeps things interesting. If we all start talking the same, maybe we'll lose our accents soon too. Frankly, I've got more than one accent. If I'm talking to my dad, who's an old Norwegian from Minnesota, I have a different accent when I talk to him than when I talk to anybody else. You guys have never heard that accent. My wife sure recognizes it. If I'm talking to him on the phone, she says, "You're talking to your dad, aren't you?" Anyways, just some thoughts. Let me get this thing mounted up. Let me know what you think on that topic if you care to. So I've just got things mounted up here relatively loosely right now, so I can just get a little bit of a feel for this. Well, and I don't have them asymmetrical, but that doesn't look bad from there. Let's look up here. It's such a busy background, it's hard to see the lines and the headlight's not straight. I'm gonna hop up here. I don't recommend this, you guys. Don't do this on a lift. It's a little dangerous. Sitting about here. Well, I know my shoulder isn't going to like that, but if I were here, yeah. I know my body is going to be happier if I have them up higher by a couple inches. I just don't know if aesthetically I will be as happy. Let's take it apart and try it the other way and look at it. Well, so here's a new insight. Now I've got these removed out of there, dropped it down. When I ground off the original handlebar risers, I didn't go all the way down flush. Now with these particular clip-ons, I run an interference there, unless I flip this around inside, then I can go down flush. Which is fine, I just need to get this adjusted before I put these on, which makes that a little bit more difficult. But with a marker, a guy can make that happen. Okay, so now they're mounted higher above the yoke. One of the advantages to doing it this way is it makes getting the height on each side very easy. Not that it's that difficult the other way. The other advantage, of course, is going to be ergonomics. I mean, I have to admit that feels a lot better for Mr. Bad Shoulder here, but it looks pretty cool. Brings a lot of that CNC'd aluminum up where you see it. I've still got room for my gauges because they're very small, although we should take a look at that. And then the other consideration is that this does require dropping the front end 35 millimeters in order to have enough clearance to get the handlebar portion of the clip-ons onto these CNC'd yokes that come with them. But I love the kind of infinite adjustability of that. The other thing is down on the bottom, that bottom frame rail is riding pretty darn level with the ground with this 35 millimeter drop. I like that. Let's look at it from some different angles. This is hard to judge with the headlight not centered. Again, I know the background is very busy here, but I got the headlights centered and got both of the brackets on just loosely right now. And I've got it where I want it height-wise, I think. Another important line is this line right here, going over, from the headlight to the top of the tank and then extending back to the rear seat hump. But, so, here we are. What do you guys think? I may also just quickly put the clocks up there. Oh, there I go using kind of British speak. I'm going to put the gauges up there. Get these gauges on, we can take a look at this. And hey, by the way, if you like what I'm doing, will you give me the thumbs up, please? That would be great. And if you want to become a monk, subscribe. Let's take a look at this. All right, so looking at that again with the headlight centered and our speedometer and tachometer in place. Really depends on which angle you're looking at the bike. Straight on, that looks a little high up. But as I said before, the critical angle from the side, or the critical lines from the side, are, you know, right there. I want the top of that headlight to be even with the top of the tank, which it pretty much is. I mean, we're close. If anything, I would come down with the headlight a little bit. From up here, I'm very happy with it. Gauges are in tight. Handlebars kind of lead right into the gauges. You know, good sight lines there. I've got the ignition switch just centered in real snug with those small gauges, and that way I can still utilize the steering lock, which would be handy around Los Angeles, I think, I hope. And what else? Oh, the gauges are rubber mounted. You can go back to, I'll forget what episode it is. I'll put a link below in how I rubber isolated those gauges, because they do recommend, Dime City Cycles sells these, and they recommend that you isolate them and not hard mount, because they're not able to take a whole lot of vibration, or I don't know. I mean, I guess that's the thought, is that vibration is not good long term, so I rubber isolated them, and I have a video on how I did that. It's a little close-up of what I did, and it's not tight, and this isn't the final hardware I'm going to use. I just had it laying around, but, you know, boing, boing, boing. Sorry, focus. Well, so hey guys, thanks for watching. That's going to be it for this episode. It's all about the clip-on handlebars and this space. The temperature has come up now a little bit. I am getting to painting that bracket for the horn, and so we can keep moving forward with wiring, but I'm at a point where there's so much to do still. Every time I come out to the bike, I don't even really quite know what area to tackle, so I just tackle something and make forward progress. Sometimes when you're on a journey, you may not know exactly where you are on the map, but as long as you know you're going in the general right direction, you'll probably end up where you need to be eventually. So with one final thought, keep your colloquialisms. I'm going to try to keep speaking like an American that I am, and you guys keep talking like you do from wherever you are, and we'll keep the planet a little bit more interesting that way. Cheers! Okay, I've let a few hours go by on this, actually a couple nights sleep and a bunch of time editing the video you just watched. And I keep coming back and looking at this thing, and I don't like it. I'm going to put the handlebars back down below the top yoke of the triple tree. So I am going to wrap this video up here, but after looking at this thing for a little while and sleeping on it a couple of nights, it's too much visual mass up here, and I just want to bring it down again. We'll see. Anyways, thanks for watching.